Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, breaking down the Wildcats of Kentucky, and we do so with Kevin McGuffey from Last Word on College Football. Kevin, how are you today?
I'm doing good, Mark. It's been a busy week. Been a busy few weeks here. Obviously, Big Blue Nation. It's been a bit of a rough week, but these things happen.
Yeah. So, in amongst us getting prepared for 2019 and all the hoopla surrounding the previews and the predictions and the analysis of what may happen this fall, an SEC great has fallen. Jared Lorenzen at the very young age of 38. And I think most of us who watch college football are aware of his issues in the past with weight. And we don't know at this point, based on what I've seen, that was directly related, but it seems to be pretty logical concerning the health issues that he had most recently and just his weight getting to very unhealthy levels. And it's just it's a sad situation.
Yeah, it really is. And he was, they haven't anything official, but he was admitted to the hospital. I think it was late Friday night with what they said. I think was heart. I think it was heart and kidney related issues, which I'm sure is probably related to, obviously, as you talked about, his health. But what can you say about him? Talking about him as a player, I have a if anyone's interested, I have a post about his life up at Last Word on College Football right now. Just kind of looking, how he started. Played at Kentucky, went to the Giants. Then became a businessman later in life. At heart, obviously, I'm a Kentucky fan. He was without question one of my favorite players ever at Kentucky, and I think a lot of people would say that. You just don't see players like him. He was listed at 275 pounds, and we all know that was nowhere even close. Probably he was 325, maybe even more. When he played here at Kentucky, and but he had such agility, such nimble feet, such grace. A guy that the moves that you would expect out of a running back or wide receiver or somebody. He just it was just amazing how what he could do. And you go back to his first, I've been watching videos of him, on YouTube and other places, and just, reading, other people, talking about him. Like the first game he was in, his first play, he ran for quarterback scramble for 32 yards. He ran over several guys and ran around several others. And then, you go through, his history. He had to it was a little over 10,000 yards when he finished at school. Kentucky set the all-time passing yards record, which he still holds. He held the career touchdowns mark. I think it's 7. I think Andre Woodson, he broke Tim Couch's mark. I think Andre Woodson passed him since then, but he still holds the record for 528 yards, passing in a game, and against Georgia, which was, pretty incredible performance. Like I said, I mean, he was, and I don't think the one thing that I've seen, there may be some people out there, but I just haven't seen anyone that's ever, said a bad thing about him. This is even before, his health issues, his recent stuff. I got to meet him, was lucky enough. We produce a show here where I work called Hey Kentucky. It's hosted by Matt Jones, Kentucky Sports Radio fame. Jared came in and did some things with them. And, he was one of the funniest guys. He would just sit there and just crack jokes and just talk about all kinds of things. And then, but then, he would just, wow you with his football knowledge. He worked on the UK pregame shows. And, it's just, it's been a tough few days here. To kind of sum it up, it's just, he was an amazing player, an amazing talent. And, as you said, it's 38 years old. It's just, it's sad to see, see him pass away like that.
In scanning your article, yes, you've included video clips, a tweet by Matt Jones. You've broken down the career in regards to from the beginning through the playing days and then into being a businessman, in which, based on what I read, he certainly always had a mind that was working and thinking of ideas, and very much had a very strong business intellect. and so well beyond the football field, he had talent in other areas, and certainly was a great guy to be around by the accounts that everyone gives. You'll be pleased to know, Kevin, that in pulling up the statistical page of Jared Lorenzen on College Football Reference, that there's a link to your story
Cool.
underneath his career passing statistics.
Oh, cool. That's always. I tell you what, the Sports Reference people, if you're watching, it really is an amazing tool. I mean, I use it, constantly, looking up stats for players and past performances and things like that. As you said, he started a T-shirt company, Throw Boy Tees. Two of his, he had many nicknames: the Pillsbury Throw Boy and Hefty Lefty. Those are two of the biggest ones, and the Round Mound of Touchdown. I always liked that one. Kind of a play off of Charles Barkley. He was the Round Mound of Rebound when he played at Auburn. But like I said, he started to, and I've ordered several things from him over the years. But like I said, it was somebody would say something, you would read something on Twitter, or somebody make a comment during a game, and then like the next day you would see, hey, we've got this T-shirt with blah, just like I said, it would sell a T-shirt, with about anything. And, a lot of them were, of course, making fun, poking fun at Louisville and some of the issues they've had, especially in the basketball program, the last few years. But that was one of the favorites. I wish I had a picture to put in that article, but it was, it basically was like set up as like an NCAA tournament bracket. And it was like, line 1, Louisville, line 2, FBI, and then like, winner FBI, kind of thing. And that was, if that wasn't the most popular, shirt, then I think it's got to be right up there. But anyway, like I said, he did all the radio stuff. He did TV. He did, he was coaching. He went back to Fort Thomas Highlands and coached, quarterbacks. Patrick Tolles talked about, meeting him and how he helped him when he was at school. Like I said, you can go through, scan through Twitter or Facebook. So many different media places have, posted tributes to him, and it's just been, like I said, it's like I said, he was one of the most popular and beloved figures here, and it's sad to see his life cut so short.
His Kentucky career ended in 2003. So for some of our younger fans, check out the videos. Check out Kevin's article at Last Word on College Football. And I'm looking at a stat line that brings back just in looking at stats, I'm kind of a nerd, and then it brings back memories of games and plays. He threw the ball 559 times as a freshman, and he carried it 76 times. So if my math's correct, he had like 635 touches that season,
right,
threw 21 interceptions, and he obviously learned something, because then his interception rate went way down for his sophomore, junior, and senior seasons.
Yeah, I think if I'm trying to remember correctly, I think the 2000 season was Hal Mummy's last year here at Kentucky. Would have been the I think it's 2000, 2001. So that would have been, he would have been in that air raid offense, which, pass happy, which, 20 years, you and I have talked before, 20 years later, there's still many Kentucky fans that, that's the only offense they want to see, Yeah, great. We had Benny Snell who ran for, a school record, but, dang it, we want to pass the ball 50 times a game. But yeah, but like I said, his stat line, some of his stat lines were just crazy. And, like I said, Mummy came in, was gone after he, got fired. And Guy Morris came in. They also had, another quarterback, Shane Boyd, a really good player who was, a local player from here in Lexington. They kind of, for a while there, they kind of shared time and, for a couple of years there. So some of the stats may not have been, in the middle may not have been as good. But then, like I said, his last year, 2003, they had the famous, led, I think 21-3 in the fourth quarter, and ended up, blowing that game, unfortunately, continuing the streak, 24-21, I think it was. And then the game later that year against Arkansas which I was fortunate enough to be at. It was one of the greatest games I've ever seen. That was the 7 overtime game where Arkansas won, because I think somebody made the comment, it seems like Arkansas is always playing 7 overtime games against somebody. But, where he threw for, I think it's 328 yards and like 3 touchdowns, but he also ran for 3. And like the 4th, 5th, and 6th overtimes, he's the ones that scored the touchdowns to keep the game going. And there was a famous, it may have been in one of those comments or one of those posts that, he was basically yelling at Kentucky fans who were leaving early. The game was going into overtime. It was like, it was Halloween, I think. And, fans were leaving. He was like, y'all going to miss a heck of a game, or a heck of a finish or something like that. And of course it turned out to be, very prophetic. But like I said, he just, like I said, it's really, it's a big loss. And, he's going to be missed by so many. And, he did so much for the program. And, Terry Wilson, just kind of going on topic, posted on Twitter last night, should I wear the double deuce, this year, or at least for the first game, at Kentucky. And everybody was like, yeah, of course, so I don't know. I would like to see him. We'll see if they do it, retire his number. He was inducted into the UK Hall of Fame, I think it's either 2015 or 2016, but, I'd like to, be nice to see them, which I think they will eventually, just go ahead and retire his number.